Want this?
Yeah.
Get in. You're in for a cosmic ride. Wow, man. Thanks for the ride. That was one cosmic ride.
I've been there and I've been here.
I've been places far and near. I stared the devil in the eye. Hi, and welcome back to Viejo Fuentes' blog. These first blogs are about travel experiences I've had. I think traveling is a really important thing that people ought to be doing. And you can't do justice to the experiences you have. It's just amazing growth that happens. And there was all these mini adventures that I couldn't talk about the last time because we just had so much time. You know, stuff like waking up in the Swiss Alps and inside of a barn where you fell asleep on hay and you're 6 feet deep with a hay wall on each side when you wake up in the morning. Kind of like being in a grave. But also getting out into where they have the water for the animals. You want to wash your face and you have to break the ice. And oh, it stings so much, man, that cold water. Yeah, dealing with merchants and dealing with salespeople, dealing with the police. That's always scary. And all the mini adventures that you can't talk about, but they were in that whole trip too that we did last time. Now this time is going to be about me hitchhiking across the United States. So I was flying into New York with this guy, Randy, and we smoked the last of my hash. We went through customs and we had nowhere to go. But fortunately, he had a friend. Randy had gone to Vietnam. He had his second day there. He was riding on a transport truck that got hit by a mortar shell. He flew 50 feet in the air, landed on his face, didn't have any shrapnel or anything, but broke his jaw and shattered his face. That was the end of the war for him. Boom, just like that, a Purple Heart. Almost like Donald Trump. And he was out of the war, so he grew his hair and went to Europe, and I met him on the way back. And he was going to set us up with a buddy of his in New Jersey so we could spend a couple of days in New Jersey, get our act together, get ready for our trip to hitchhike across the states. This guy he'd served with in Nam. Now, something you have to understand is what America was going through at the time. We'll call it the zeitgeist. The zeitgeist of America was divided. There was the love and peace generation, which I was part of. We wanted to change. We wanted equal rights for everybody. We wanted love and peace. And then there was the right wing of America that was totally into this illegal and immoral war, Vietnam. And they were like, America, love it or leave it. My country, right or die for its right. It was a dangerous time for young people that were on the left in America. And that was the world we were going to hitchhike across the United States in. This guy, Randy, his buddy Ron picked us up, the guy he'd been in Nam with. We go down to his house in Jersey, his family house. They were an Italian-American family, super right. The only reason the dad looked at us and said, "Only reason I'm letting you hippies stay here because you served in Nam with my son. If it was up to me, I'd cut your hair." Of course, we didn't tell him I hadn't been to Nam. Who knows what he would have done to me. And it was a weird thing. This guy, Ron, would get up in the morning and he would take he had a wristband, like a little brother, he'd take it on and he'd shoot speed up in the morning underneath his wristband. And then put his wristband on and go off to work. And we would just hang around till he got home. Then at night, in Jersey, you're out in the boonies, man. You know, some little town, I don't remember what it was. But at night, all the kids, they go out to like sand dunes with a little river running through it. And that's where they all party. That's where all the weed is and all the alcohol is and all the people. And the cars are racing up and down and people are yelling. And so we did that for about 2 or 3 days. It was okay. And then we got ready to hitchhike across the United States. So we party there about 4 days out in the sticks, and one day we go to Newark. Holy shit, that scared the crap out of me. And poverty was totally different than back east. It just looked different to me than our poverty out here. Anyway, so we got ready to hitchhike. So we started hitchhiking. They took us up to some highway, and we started hitchhiking. And the first day, we didn't get to just outside of Philadelphia when the sun was setting. It was a rough day. We didn't get very far from the Pennsylvania, New Jersey border. We went across and just past Philly. We found some bushes. We climbed in them. We laid down our backpacks and we went to sleep. So that was day one. Day two was a whole another thing. So we wake up to day two. It's a beautiful morning, blue skies. The sun had just come up. We put on our backpacks. We start hiking down the road. We go past a sign that says, "Welcome to Ohio." And we're walking along this road and we see this idyllic, great-looking country diner. Everybody hears about the country diner, where all the truckers know the secrets of great culinary secrets out in America. Well, let me tell you, bro, it was really beautiful, but you'll see. So we get up to this thing, and there's gigantic Mack trucks everywhere, and we go walking up to the little cafe there on the side of the road, tall trees, and we open the door, and it's just noisy in there. I mean, it's a full restaurant. Everyone's like, rah, 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 and clinking the dishes and forks and knives and everything. As soon as these two hippies walk into the restaurant, the place goes dead silent. So we're kind of like, whoa, okay. And I see two spots over there on the counter, two counter seats, so I look at the dude and go, let's go. So we go and we sit down, and slowly the sounds start up again. People start eating again and noises, and we're waiting for service. We're sitting there about 10 minutes, and no waitress has even looked at us, given us a menu or anything. When all of a sudden, this big hand goes on my arm. And then I guess he puts his other arm on my buddy, Randy. And this big, huge head with a deer trucks or whatever, Mack truck, cowboy hat, a baseball cap, goes in between us, and he goes, "I'm going to go take a pee. When I come out of the bathroom, you girls better not be here anymore." So I said, "We won't be." we grabbed our shit and we hitched. We fucking got out of there. So we're hiking down the road with our backpacks on. Now it's about 10 in the morning. It's still a beautiful day. And we figure we better get as far away from that place as we can. So we hike about a mile, maybe a mile and a half, when you hear the rumble of a Chevy, 57 Chevy, 8-cylinder coming down the road. And sure enough, coming down the road, you can see this black, hopped up, brand new, not brand new because it was 13 years old. I mean, whatever many years it was, but it was hopped up, coming straight at us down the road. And I'm out there hitchhiking. So I see it coming, so I kind of I step back a little bit. At about a half a mile, it moves over to the inside lane, still roaring towards us. At a quarter of a mile, it moves on to, there was 2 lanes on this side, there was a median, and 2 lanes on that side. And next to it, there was enough room of the shoulder of the road, a blacktop shoulder, where I guess you could change a tire or something. So I move over to that part at about a quarter of a mile away from us, and he moves over, coming straight at us on the shoulder of the road. Well, Randy and I, we back up all the way against these high weeds, because all you can see are weeds, 6-foot high weeds, so as far as the eye can see on each side of the road. Just, the hills and everything, but weeds. It's the end of summer, and this guy's coming right at us, so we get right up into the weeds. And as they race by, there was 3 guys in the car. The guy in the back seat throws a beer bottle at us, a full beer bottle. That thing whistles by my ear. I fucking lose it. I run out to the middle of the road. Fuck you, you motherfuckers. Come on back here. I'll kick your fucking asses. And Randy goes, shut up. They might hear you. Well, sure as fucking enough. They stop. They go across the grassy meridian and start racing back. Well, Randy and I go, we're not going to be here. Who knows what kind of weapons they have, who knows how big they are. So we grab our backpacks and we hightail it into the high weeds. These weeds are way over our heads. I mean, it's just, and we run and we zigzag and then we finally run and we throw down our backpacks and we lay down on top of our backpacks. And you can hear these guys driving up and down the road going, you fucking hippies, we're going to cut your balls off. We're going to hang, we're going to lynch you fucking faggots. We're going to fucking kill you fucking, war protesters. And we're laying there in this high grass and there's all these fucking bugs are on us, just eating us alive. You can imagine, it's like we're in the middle of this sea of weeds and there's bugs on us and spiders and mites and God knows what, but we can't make a sound. Randy starts freaking out. He starts breaking out. He starts crying. He starts saying, I didn't go to Vietnam to come back to get killed by my own people. And I say, shut the fuck up. These aren't our people. These guys drove back and forth, cursing and threatening us for about an hour. We laid out there, and then they drove off. Well, we figured they just went down the road to see if we'd come out. And we stayed in those bushes. I would guess we stayed there about 4 hours. When we came out of there, we were just lumps all over our faces, our necks, our arms, and we started hiking down the road. We hiked about 3 miles, and it got to be dark. We went back into the high weeds, and we slept the night. No lunch all day, no nothing all day, and we made no fire because we were terrified. And that was the end of day 2. So we wake up day 3 in the bushes, in the weeds, and we get up and we start hiking at sunrise. We hike and we hike and we hike, then we get a ride. And we leave Ohio behind, we get into Illinois, and we keep hitchhiking, and the day's long, and the hitchhiking's hard, and we get a burger at a burger stand, and then we get a ride that takes us to Chicago. And the guy says, look, I'm going to be going to Iowa City, so if you guys want to hang out a few hours while I go to a wedding. So Chicago is so gnarly in August. It is so hot and muggy and disgusting. And of course, the guy locks his car, so why would he trust us? I don't blame him. So we have to hang out all day walking around Chicago with our backpacks and get back just when he's getting ready to leave, done with his wedding. And boom, we head out towards Illinois, I guess comes Indiana, and we start driving across Indiana, and then it gets to be nighttime, we're entering Iowa, and this gigantic fireball just rips across the sky. It was one of the most amazing sights I've ever seen. It was gigantic. It just roared across above our heads, off behind these mountains. And we took that as a good sign. Or maybe it was a bad sign, I don't know. But we finally get to nighttime, we finally get to Iowa City. Now, Iowa City is the University of Iowa. And they have their great writing program there that I had wanted to go to. Iowa Writers Workshop. But anyway, so I turned to Randy and I say, dude, there's a college town. I'm going to score some weed. Give me $20. So he gives me his 20. And with my $40, I walk into the first bar we see. I go in there and it's a funky cowboy type bar, but like college type kids. I scored $40 worth of weed in 15 minutes. And it was, I guess, Iowa bushweed. It was swag, but we had something. So we got a little bit of weed. We took some newspaper, we rolled it up, not newspaper, but regular writing paper, we rolled it up, made a joint, and we got the smoke, and we went to sleep in the bushes, but we had a fire that night. So we were making progress. So we wake up in this Iowa field, day 4. We start hitchhiking, and that's when the hitchhiking got gnarly. Nobody would give us a ride. We waited hours and hours. Finally, we get into Nebraska, and we get to Lincoln, Nebraska. And we wasted about 6 hours at this one on-ramp in Lincoln, Nebraska. Cowboys driving by, throwing shit at us, flipping us the finger, threatening us. And all along, there's all these white posts, curb-like things, and there's all this writing. I waited for a ride 2 days here. You'll never get a ride here. Just walk down the highway. You'll never get a ride. I was here 14 hours. I was here. I mean, there's all this testimonials written on the side about what a bad spot we're hitchhiking in. So we decided to walk down, maybe on the highway we can get a ride. So we walk out onto the highway, and no sooner are we out on the highway when a highway patrol, that state's highway patrol guy, pulls up, chases us back, tells us he's going to arrest us if we don't go back, and we have to go back to that damn corner again, that on-ramp. The on-ramp from hell, with all the testimonials, and it looks like we're never going to get out. The cop would chase us back off the highway, and we were like, "Oh my God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do when nighttime comes? It's so dangerous now. People, daylight, are throwing stuff at us." And then the angel Mother of Mercy arrived. This lady shows up. She's got 2 teenage kids. The daughter's like 17, the son's like 15. And she says, "You kids need a ride?" We go, "Oh, please, please." So we get into the car, and we start driving, and we ask her, "How far are you going?" And she says, "I'm going to San Francisco." And I'm not kidding. Randy broke down and started crying. He was just like, "Oh, thank God, I get to go home. Oh my God." And I'm like, man, it was scary, but man, don't start crying, brother. Not until the bad guys get us. Then you cry all you want. Anyway, so we drove along with her, and when it came nighttime, this sweet woman rented a room for Randy and I at the little cheap-ass motel. We got to sleep in the bed. We got to take a shower. We smoked the last of our weed with her kids, and she took a couple of tokes herself. And it was like, wow, we finally scored. Now, I was supposed to get off at Cheyenne because that's in Wyoming, and it goes straight down to Boulder where I was going to meet my best friend Tony. That we had set it up that I would meet him there, and he was going to wait in Boulder till I got there. And so we could trip out together. So day 5 came along, we jumped on the car, and we headed towards Wyoming. So we're driving along in this cramped car. I think the lady had like a Mustang or something, and we're all jammed in there with our backpacks, and we drive in, and we get to right outside of Cheyenne at the junction of 80 that we've been hitchhiking on and 85, which goes down to Boulder. We pull into the gas station. She starts filling up her car. I pull out my backpack. Everybody's got to take a pee. So we go around to the back, and the men's bathroom says out of order. So I say to the Randy, and I say to the son, "You guys go into the women's bathroom. I'll cover, and then you guys cover me so I can take a pee." And they say, "Oh yeah, no problem." So they go in there, and they come out. I go in there, and right in the middle of taking a pee, the door opens to the women's bathroom where I'm urinating, and in walks the owner of this gas station. Great big frontier woman, wearing a Pendleton, hair tied up in braids, big red-faced, not like Native American red-faced, but like alcohol, white woman red-faced. And she sees me peeing there, and she screams, and she goes, "I'm calling the sheriff, you're going to jail." And she goes running out of there, and I go, oh my God, I'm going to be in a chain gang in Wyoming for a year. So I grab my bag, come out running out of there. I go backpack, and the lady's just pulling out of the driveway. And I yell, "Ah!" I go running after her, man. I dive in, and I go, I'm sorry, but I'm standing up Tony, man. I'm not going to sit there on the corner of 80 and 85 hitchhiking while the sheriff shows up. She points at me. He walks across there and beats me and takes me to prison. So I wasn't going to do it. So I'm back in the car, and we're heading to California. We get into Utah, and the lady, you know, we see the salt flats and mostly highway. We find a motel towards the end of the day. Lady's tired, but she can't afford a room for us. So Randy and I sleep on the grass outside of their little room, their little grassy area. And it was like, you know, all right, one more day, we're heading home to California. We wake up day 6 in a bright white sky of Utah, and we head towards California. Each mile, I'm feeling a little better. Randy's feeling a little better. We drop him off somewhere near Oakland. The lady starts going to San Francisco. She drops me off on the 101, and I start hitchhiking from San Francisco down the 101 to LA. I get as far as Fresno. Everything is cool. And then I get dropped off at Fresno, and it was just like Lincoln fucking Nebraska. I couldn't get a ride. There was all these testimonials. I waited here 14 hours. You'll never get a ride here. You know, I thought this was California. I mean, just all these testimonials. And I wait 2-3 hours. People just driving by, flip me the finger, just, you know, and I'm going, oh, I'm never going to get home. So I decided I'm going to walk on the highway again. So I go walking out on the highway after about 3 hours, and sure enough, the highway patrol pulls up. But it's the California Highway Patrol, right? And like chips. So the guy says, you can't hitchhike on the highway. It's against the law. Get in. And I said, am I getting arrested? And he goes, no, get in. So he drives me down about 3 or 4 miles, and he goes, this is a good hitchhiking spot. Leaves me off at that ramp. And within 20 minutes, I got a ride. That was so fucking cool of that CHP guy. And then I got into LA late afternoon. I finally get to my apartment on Kodak Avenue or Kodak Drive in Silver Lake. And I had this great apartment where the side window would open up and you could literally see Malibu, Palm Springs, Catalina. I had this incredible view of the city. I've been in these little, you know, famous European cities, you know, in Paris when you're Monte Cristo with the you can see it's really not that big of a city, you know. Outside of like New York, when you're up at when I was up at the top of the Empire State Building, there was nothing like LA. It was just this vast panorama of houses as far as the eye could see. So day 7, I wake up in my own bed. Glorious feeling. Home at last. I've been gone 7 weeks maybe. My cat Orange was so happy to see me. I gave him a big smooch, and I was back home safe and sound. And I had a lot of wonderful and some scary experiences, but that's what makes life worth living. One of the reasons I do these blogs is so that you guys will realize you got to get out and have your experiences. You got to become your own hero. You've got to go out and test the world. And hopefully you'll survive, because it's a dangerous place. But you can get killed at home too. But it changed me as a person, and all the subsequent journeys helped change me as a person. And I'll be talking about many more subsequent trips in the following blogs. If you enjoyed this, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. Go to viejofontes.com. Write me some comments on Facebook, Paulino Fontes on Facebook, and communicate what you thought of it. And the next trip will be coming up very soon. I'm not sure which one it's going to be, but I have so many, and so many great adventures. So this is Viejo Fontes saying subscribe, viejofontes.com, and Viejo Fontes is zooming out.